What is up, friends, and welcome back to another episode of From the Mind of Dick. Hope everybody is doing well wherever you may be. Hope everyone's had a great Thanksgiving. It is now the day after Thanksgiving. I'm like a day late. It is Black Friday. I'm wearing my black LA hat because it's Black Friday. But yeah, Thanksgiving was yesterday. I wanted to try to get a podcast out before. I wanted to do this before Thanksgiving, but I just got really busy. I was basically I went to LA for a little bit and then got stuck in LA because my flight something happened with my flight. I guess one of the tires popped or something on the plane, and the left phalange wasn't working. But I ended up having to come back a day late, and then I missed a day of work, and then I don't know, it's just a bunch of crazy shit happened. So, but those of you who are watching this, what do you think of the new room? I set up a room for just creativity and just like music. I got the drums, I got the guitars, and then I got the desk set up for the podcast. I even have a ring light now, so I hope this isn't like too much. It's a little small, tiny one. I wanted to try a tiny one before I went with anything bigger, but I'm trying to set up something different because I feel like I'm gonna get way into this, and I might as well, right? I do want to do. I do want to do. I want to do more. I do want to start making more music again. So I just wanted to set up another room. This is actually the master bedroom. This is where I was sleeping for the longest time. I would have been here for like 5 months. This is where I was sleeping, and there's like a bathroom here that connected to the room, like normal master bedroom, right? And it's got like a walk-in closet. It's really nice. But it's got like a stand-up shower, which is kind of lame. It's just got like the one window. It kind of feels like the vibe in here just wasn't great. So I decided to switch rooms. The room on that side has like two windows, and even though now I covered one up because it was putting a glare on my TV, but it has a better vibe. It has like a brighter vibe. I don't know what it is. It's a little bigger room too, and it just feels better in that room. And the bathroom on that side's way better. It's like a regular bathroom, and it has like a window for like natural light. And it is like has cabinets for more storage, for all my stuffs. And then it also has a regular shower with like a bathtub and like a full size shower. So I don't feel so like claustrophobic when I'm taking a shower. So I decided to switch. And then the other one was kind of set up like a bedroom, but it was more like for the girls when they visit, my daughters. And that only happens just every once in a while. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to set up this room. And then when they come over, like for example, they're going to be here for Christmas for like a week and a half. We can just set up a bed in here and everything will be fine. And this can be their room for that time, and then they'll have their own private bathroom. So I think it'll work out. They're a little smaller than I am, so that stand-up shower might work better for them. But if they want to use the other bathroom, they can too. But anyway, that's what I wanted to do with this room. So I kind of love the space here for just podcasting and stuff like that. So I hope it works out. I'm going to set up other things later. This is just the beginning. It's kind of why I took a little break, because I wanted to kind of get this done right. Um, so I wanted to do this before Thanksgiving, like I said, but what I wanted to talk about is just being thankful. Thanksgiving to me, I don't think of, the pilgrims and shit like that. Like, I think about two things when I think about Thanksgiving. Think about food, and I take it as a time to be thankful, and just to be thankful for everything that I have. I'm thankful for a lot. Like I have a lot going on in my life, and I have a really, really good life. I have a lot of good people around me, and I just feel real thankful for everything I have. So I wanted to talk about that. First thing I wanted to talk about, of course, is like the food. There was something I wanted to bring up because, like, when it comes to the food for Thanksgiving, it's like it's always like the traditional, turkey and stuffing and all that stuff, which is great. I mean, why do we only eat it once a year? Like, why don't we just go get like some stovetop and make stuffing with like a chicken dinner that we have or something like that? You never think of that. A lot of people do, but I never really think of that. I only really have stuffing like once a year, and there's all sorts of things that you have on Thanksgiving that you only have once a year. And I don't understand why we only buy turkeys once a year. I'm not a big fan of turkey. It's okay, I'll have it and then I won't eat it, but a lot of people like it for Thanksgiving. So why do they only have turkey like once a year? Why don't you have turkey year round? Um, I'm a fan of ham, so I'd rather have ham. But why don't we have like a steak? Why don't we grill up a big steak and have that on Thanksgiving? Or why don't we have like a fancy dinner like lobster and steak and why don't we just have something like that instead of all the traditional food on Thanksgiving? I'm not even a big fan of all the traditional food. It's good once a year, but I'm done after that. Like I don't really want to have green bean casserole next Wednesday. You know what I mean? I'll have it once a year and it's usually pretty good, but and I only have cranberry sauce once a year. I work at a grocery store and I was in charge of the grocery department. We sold thousands and thousands of cans of cranberry sauce during the Thanksgiving holiday. And then you sell like one a week the rest of the year. Why is that? Cranberry sauce is good. Why is it even available the rest of the year? Nobody buys it. I mean, I don't know. I feel like um, we should probably change that tradition. I don't know. Maybe not. But those kind of things don't make sense to me. Why do we only have this stuff once a year? But I had a good meal this year. Went to my girlfriend's house and had the traditional turkey, and we actually got a ham because I was like, I want ham. But the traditional dinner, um, and I was lucky enough to have my girlfriend's family um, allow me to, have dinner with their family because I was the only one there that wasn't a member of the family, and it was her siblings and then her parents, and always Richard because I'm always there and I'm always included. So I feel lucky that to have her family that includes me and all that. And I'm always invited in a lot of the family things that they do. I'm always invited, and that's amazing. They accept me for that for as part of the family in a way. So I'm lucky to have that because my family is unfortunately all over the country. My brother's in Spokane, Washington, and my sister and my mom are in Florida. Um, so we don't get to have that traditional Thanksgiving. We used to all the time. We used to be either at my mom's house, and then when I had a big house at a time, my mom, my sister, my brother used to always come over, and we'd cook a big meal, and then we'd just hang out and watch movies, or we'd hang out and play games. When we were having it at my house, we'd hang out and play games, and that was when like after we'd eat, I'd start drinking and get get drunk, and we'd have fun playing games, and so those are like the good times, the fun um, family time that I remember, and I miss those days. So it's nice to actually have that, be able to sit around with a family, and her family reminds me a lot of my family back in the day. Um, but I'm really thankful. One of the things I'm really thankful for is my family. Even though we're all over the place, we are still really close. Like when the Dodgers were playing in the World Series recently, I don't know if you heard, the Dodgers won the World Series, but I have a whole podcast about it if you want to check that out. It's the last one I did. But when the Dodgers were playing, me and my family, we had a little group chat that we were back and forth. Me and my brother were texting back and forth. My brother actually gave up on the Dodgers that last game, and he was like, "I'm done with this game." And I was like, "Yeah, me too." And then we all know they came back and won. But um, I'm really close to as far as my brother with that, and we text every once in a while. We're both really busy, so it's hard to keep in contact. But I'm thankful for the relationship that we have. We've always been really good friends, and that's my number one guy. That's my best man. That's my best friend. My sister as well is my best friend. She is, we've always been close since the day she was born, and she is my twin, and she's very ugly. So just she doesn't listen to this, so that's just something we say to each other's. We call each other ugly because we're basically twins and we're like almost 9 years apart. But I love my sister to death. She's always been my rock, my number one. And of course, my mom has always, everybody knows my mom, and she's just an amazing person, and she's always been there for me when I needed her. And so I'm very thankful to still have my mom around. Unfortunately, my dad passed away, you know, was it 15 years ago, coming up on 15 years. It's coming up on the seventh, and I always know how many years it's been since my dad passed, because it's the same as Kayla, the age of my daughter Kayla. Kayla was born in October, and then my dad unfortunately passed in December. So, however old Kayla is, that's how I know how long ago it's been since my dad passed. But and unfortunately, Zoe never even got to meet my dad. Kayla doesn't remember my dad because she was, like I said, she was a few months old when he passed away. So my younger daughters never got to meet my dad, but he had his faults, but I'm thankful for him teaching me what he did teach me, because he really did teach me to be a man. He taught me to work hard. I wouldn't be the person I am without him. I did, witness a lot of things that I shouldn't have witnessed. Um, and I feel like I could have used a lot more discipline when I was growing up instead of my dad trying to be my friend. He could have, beat my ass a little more. But I am a tough person, usually mentally, physically, I'll beat your ass, and that's thanks to my dad. So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for my family. Like, all in all, I have a great family, and I'm lucky to have that. Um, I'm thankful for my kids. I have a great relationship with my kids. Even though I moved to Utah, I'm still very close with all my kids who live in California. Um, Unfortunately, me and my son, we don't talk right now. That's going to change. I'm on a mission to make that change. He went through a lot, and there were a few mistakes I made, especially when I was drinking, that affected him, and I think he just had enough of it. And I don't blame him. I don't know exactly what it is, why he's upset with me, and I'm gonna find out. I've reached out to him a few times, and he won't talk to me. So I'm gonna change that, though. It's been a couple of years since we talked. Last time we talked was for a Christmas, and I thought we had some good conversations, and then he just never talked to me again, and he wouldn't tell me what was going on. I do want to find out, and I do want to squash it, and I'll apologize for anything I did wrong. I just need to know what it is. I'm not the kind of person that will apologize if I don't know what I'm apologizing for, because that's half-assed, and I'm not doing that. I'm not playing that game. So it's something that's gonna be squashed eventually. But I don't really talk to him much, but I love him to death, and I'm very thankful that he's my son. Um, my daughter June, my oldest, I don't know what can I say about her. She is one of the most amazing human beings. She has become such an amazing adult. She works really hard. She does hair, and then she also does nails. She's into that kind of stuff, and then she's so creative. Like I mean, look, I actually have it sitting right here. Look at this. This is I'm gonna get the glare off of it, but she painted this for me for my birthday. Can you believe how amazing that is? I asked her, I said, when Vinny passed away, I asked for, if she could do a portrait of Vinny, because I know she's able to do portraits, and this is what she did. Can you believe how great this is? That's how creative she is, and I'm so proud of not only how talented and creative she is, but just the human she is. And uh, Kayla, my 15-year-old, she's so witty, and I don't know how to describe it, like quirky. She's so funny. The things she says sometimes, she's so smart, and she's I don't know what it is. When it comes to music, she literally memorizes like every song lyric and everything. And sometimes I'm bad at song lyrics. I suck at it, and I've always been bad at like remembering song lyrics. And she will remember the song lyrics, and she'll tell me, "You're wrong. This is how the actual lyric." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're right." But she's just so smart, and she was just on the podcast that we just did, the Useless Information podcast, with my friend Danny B, and it was so amazing listening to her talk about the songs and the music that she loves and how passionate she is about it. She's definitely my kid, 100%. And her style is just crazy. It's so awesome, the way she dresses, the way she does her hair. I mean, she just got her septum pierced, and I'm like, this is my kid. This is definitely my kid. If you knew me back in high school, she's definitely just like I was. Um, and then finally, my youngest, my baby girl Zoe. I love her so much. Um, I can't say enough about my shadow, my little twinny, my my beautiful girl. It's one of those things where, like, I was worried about her for a while because she just threw tantrums way too much, and she had a I don't know how to describe it. And sometimes the tantrums would go on for hours, and I was just worried that she would have that problem when she went to school. But she never has had that problem in school, and she's always done well in school. And she shows me her report cards, and like I'm just like so proud of how good she's doing. She calls me all the time, she'll FaceTime with me to let me know that, um, let me know what happened that day in school, or her boy problems or stuff like that. But when I was just there visiting, I went and met her when she got out of school, and I could see how all her friends love her. And she's just an amazing person. And like I said, she's always been like kind of my shadow. Like when I used to go up to the store, she'd always want to go with me, and she'd always want to do what I was doing and want to be with me all the time. And she still, like I said, calls me all the time. Um, but that's the one of the main things I'm thankful for is my kids. I have amazing kids, and they're all healthy, and they're all happy, and they're all well adjusted, with everything that's gone on in my life and in their lives that's affected them. They've always been very, very well adjusted kids. And I feel like I've done a decent job, you know, being present in their lives. Even though I moved to Utah. Like I said, I talk to Zoe, at least 3 times a week. I visit whenever I can. I just got back. Um, and I'm going to go pick them up for Christmas. So I bring them here for a little bit. Summertime, they usually stay with me for a couple months. I'm a very present father, even though I'm living in another state. And that's what's important when you're long distance with your kids. And I don't know if anybody is long distance with their kid. Like I said, my friend Danny B, over at the Conference Call podcast, the good friend that I do the useless information podcast with, he just mentioned on his podcast that he's also, does a long distance thing with his daughter. And it's really, really tough. Any of you that do that, it is really tough. You miss your kids all the time. So all you can really do is call them, when it's time to visit, you visit. When you bring them to your house, you do everything you can with them. Just be there, be present. And that's the only way you can actually do it. Hold on, I got to plug in. Give me a sec. I forgot to plug in my laptop while I was doing this, and it was already almost dead. So anyway, love my kids. That's the other thing. One of the other things I'm thankful for. I'm going to take a drink of water. I do have a Stanley. Yes, those of you who are watching, I do have a Stanley. I am a basic Utah bitch. It just keeps my water cold, and it has a straw, and I like it. I don't give a fuck what you think. Um, ooh, and I am a basic bitch. But anyway, the next thing I'm thankful for, the next person I'm thankful for, is my amazing, beautiful girlfriend, Alicia. Um, I can't say enough about the person she is and the person that she's made me. Like I'm a better person because I'm with her. And every second of every day that's all I want to do. Sometimes I want to get off work just so I can go hang out with her. And even if we don't do anything, I just want to hang out with my girlfriend. Um, Even if we're just sitting there watching TV for hours, it's fine. It's all I want to do is be with my girlfriend. And when we met, I didn't think it was going to be like this. I mean, so I feel like sometimes I was supposed to meet her because I met her at the exact right time. Um, and one of these days, I want to do a podcast with her where we talk about our how we met and our love story. But let's just say that like I feel like it wasn't one of those things that was kind of supposed to happen, and it just did organically. It wasn't like we met online or anything like that. It was we met at work, and we were friends, and we'd always have like pretty good talks. And then I just found myself just being so drawn to her. And next thing you know, we started hanging out more outside of work, and we started talking, and then finally we started dating. And it was like I wasn't sure how it would happen. I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but I knew I wanted to try. And when I ended up moving back to LA, we just said like, hey, let's just try it out and see what happens. And I was really upset that I had to do it, but I needed to be there for my kids. And I moved back to LA for 4 years, and we just said, hey, if it's not working out, then we'll just remain friends, and we'll see, maybe we can revisit it later. And we stayed together. We did have a little hiccup in between, which we don't like to talk about. It was just something that I felt like needed to happen at the time. And we broke up for a couple months, but that whole time I was completely miserable, and I missed her. And I realized that she was who I wanted to be with for the rest of my life. I did not want to ever not be her man, you know what I mean? And if I don't know if you guys believe in soulmates and all that stuff, like all that cheesy stuff, but I believe that like, I met my soulmate at 40 years old, you know, and it took me that long to finally meet the woman of my dreams, you know. Um, she's everything I've ever wanted in a partner. She's the most kind, most generous, most thoughtful. I can talk for hours about how amazing she is, and she's the perfect person for me. She's exactly what I needed at the time. And because when we met, I was still drinking. We weren't together, but we knew each other, and I was going to work, and I was um, hungover every day that nobody really knew. Um, and then I quit drinking, and I got real sick for probably a good couple months, and I just couldn't eat anything, and I just would, and um, I don't know, it was just hard. And but I always went to lunch with everybody just 'cause I knew she was going to be there. And I always tried to sit by her, and I would be mad when I didn't sit by her. It was just all these things. But I got sober right before we got together. Like literally a couple months before we got together is when I got sober. And I stayed sober because she helped me stay sober. I had times where I wanted to drink. I would get depressed and feel lost and feel lonely and just feel like all I needed was a drink, and I'd feel better. I was living in a place where it was readily available. And I would call her and talk to her, and she would talk me down, and I wouldn't drink. And even if it was just making me feel better and I didn't tell her, hey, I feel like I want to go get a drink, I can go downstairs, take a couple shots. I can take a couple swigs out of any alcohol. They had bottles and bottles for days downstairs, but I didn't do it. And I feel like her keeping me sane and keeping me grounded and making me feel like making me feel happy, that is what kept me sober. And I feel real love. I feel unconditional real love from her, and she loves me for who I am, not for what I can give her. It doesn't matter. Like she loves me unconditionally. She takes everything, you know, like she loves my kids. My kids love her, and that's extremely important. You know, she's friends with my kids, like they're besties. You know, even like my oldest daughter June, they every once in a while, they'll text each other. June has texted her before, say, "Hey, thanks for making my dad happy," and that made me cry when Alicia told me that, because that's important. June's seen me go through a lot of bullshit. June has seen me at my worst, so she knows that she might not have her dad right now if it wasn't for Alicia. So, babe, I know you're listening because you are one of my 5 listeners to this podcast. I know you're listening, babe, and I just want you to know how much I love you and how thankful I am that you are in my life. You're everything to me, and I'm the luckiest man in the galaxy. I really, really am the luckiest man in the galaxy. I would not be who I am today if it was not for you being in my life. So that's what I am so thankful for, when it comes to like Thanksgiving, giving thanks. Thankful for my kids, my family, my amazing girlfriend. Um, the last thing I wanted to talk about before I go is what everybody says. I noticed that everybody says what are you thankful for? Everybody says, I'm thankful for my health. Well, what does that mean? Are you thankful that you're still alive or are you just thankful that you're healthy? Because most people aren't healthy. It's something that I really notice. A lot of people are on a lot of, blood pressure medication and all, those kind of things, right? So you're not healthy. So why are you thankful for your health? You should be trying to get healthy. For me, I am not on any medications. I'm 47 years old. I'm not on any medications. I have a few stomach issues, but that stems from years of poisoning myself and not eating exactly what I should be eating and drinking like crazy. But it's getting better. And other than that, I'm in perfect health. I have nothing wrong with me. I don't take any drugs, pharmaceutical or otherwise. Um, I feel lucky, and actually before I got sober, I feel like I was on the verge of getting really sick or even dying. I have friends that I went to school with, that I worked with, you know, friends that were my age or younger even, that didn't make it. And I've said this before, but I have a lot of friends that died from alcohol related things. Okay. And it seems like it just keeps popping up. It keeps popping up. Like someone will pass away and it'll be like, okay, well, yeah, I know they still drank. And so I feel so thankful that I was able to get sober. And I know that this is something that I'm always like posting about and talking about. But unless you've gone through it, you don't understand. And if I could just help one person, and I feel like I have helped people. I have helped people get sober or even cut down because a few of my friends have reached out to me and said that they're proud of me and that they want to do the same thing. I've also had friends reach out that I didn't maybe talk to enough. And the next thing you know, I find out that they are not with us anymore. And that makes me sad. And I'm not going to let that happen anymore. So that's kind of why I talk about it as much as I do, or I'll post things about it and say how happy I am that I'm sober, because if I can help one person, then I'm good. So I'm thankful that I was able to get out of that habit and get out of that, because it almost killed me. And I feel healthier right now than I ever have. I had a doctor tell me that if you keep going down this path, you keep doing what you're doing, and I was completely honest with him with what I was doing. He was like, "You're not going to live another 5 years with these numbers that I'm looking at." After I did my blood tests and stuff, and when he looked at the numbers, he was like, "I, you need to stop drinking. You need to," and he wanted to do anything he could to help me stop drinking. He wanted to give me pills. He wanted to he gave me antidepressants that didn't work. I just still drank. Um, but then I just finally said no. I said I want to save my life, and I wanted to do it for my kids, and not just for me, but for everybody around me. And I'm so thankful that I was able to do that. I'm so thankful I was able to get out of it. And my health is great. I've had people tell me, and maybe they're lying to me. I don't know, but I've had friends that I've known for years say, "Dude, you're like aging backwards," because I look better now than I did 10 years ago. And I feel like I do. I see pictures of myself, 10 years ago, and I feel like I do even look better now than I did 10 years ago. And that's because, honestly, that's just because I quit drinking. It's that simple. I just quit drinking and living that sober life. And I feel like I added 80 years to my life because I'm going to live to be 150. So, um, but all in all, guys, like I'm just thankful for a lot of different things. I wanted to say a couple shout outs. Um, I have a great friend at work who I wanted to mention, who is probably my number one listener when it comes to this podcast, and is also my best friend at work. And he's someone that I'm always just like looking for when I get to work, so we can hang out, talk for a minute before we start, doing our thing. But he's always asking me, "When are you putting your next episode out?" And he waits for these episodes to drop. And it's probably the only person, maybe him and Danny B, but he's like the only friend I have that waits for this to drop. Him and my girlfriend, they're always the ones saying, "When are you putting out a new podcast? When are you doing this?" Right? So I want to shout out to my good friend, my ninja, my boy Brian. Thanks, dude. Appreciate your support, and you're the homie. You're like my brother from another. But I wanted to shout out to people like him who I met here in Utah, who have become friends and become family. Um, Also, my boy Danny B, who I've mentioned a few times in this episode. But um, I just wanted to thank you, my brother, for lighting that fire. Um, and this was something that I was just going to do for fun, and then I quit for a while. But then, you know, my boy Danny started saying, "Hey, you should do another podcast," and he started going hard on it. And then we started talking about doing one together, and once we started doing it together, I was like, man, this is fun. I want to do this. And I started getting more and more reactions and more people wanting to listen, more and more people asking me, why aren't you doing more? And so then I started saying, yeah, like I'm going to start doing video. I'm going to start making this like a regular thing. I'm going to start, you know, having more people on this platform that I'm using now. I can do more video with other people. If people don't want to do video, we can actually collab using this with just audio. So thank you, Danny, for lighting that fire. You're a friend that I've had for a really long time. And I really have always wanted to do a podcast since I saw you were doing one. And since I first learned about what they were, I always felt I'd be good at it. And then I finally started doing it because of the fact that you were doing it and that I would listen to yours and be like, man, I could do that too. So thank you, my brother. I love you. Um, Shout out to all my friends who, you know, have day one homies from like back in high school, back in, you know, the old Lake LA days. Shout out to all of you. I love you all. Um, I can't mention everybody, but I just wanted to tell everybody, all my friends, you know, thank you so much for always supporting me and always being there for me. Like I said, I love you all. But that brings this episode to a close. Again, thank you. And guys, I just want you to always remember this, okay? When things get down, when things get rough, just remember this. You got this, all right? You got this. Peace.